Hey there, curious minds! Welcome to our countdown of the dumbest fashion trends in human history. From bizarre wigs to dangerous shoes, let's dive into the oddities of fashion through the ages. You know, fashion is often hailed as a form of self-expression, a way to showcase our individuality and creativity. But let's be real, sometimes fashion misses the mark, leaving us scratching our heads and wondering what were they thinking. So, buckle up as we journey through time, exploring some of the most outrageous and downright silly fashion trends that have graced, or perhaps disgraced, humanity. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and maybe even question everything you thought you knew about style. Let's go. Our first stop takes us to 18th century Britain, where gentlemen of leisure sported some seriously questionable headwear, the macaroni wig. Imagine this. A towering structure of hair, often white, piled high above the head and topped with a tiny hat or a single feather. Practical? Absolutely not. Fashionable? Apparently so. These wigs were inspired by the Grand Tour, a European adventure undertaken by young men of means. The macaroni wig, named after the Italian pasta dish, was meant to signify worldliness and sophistication. Ironically, the trend became a target of satire, with the popular rhyme Yankee Doodle mocking the idea that anyone could be considered sophisticated just by sticking a feather in their cap. But hey, fashion is a fickle mistress, and the macaroni wig, despite the ridicule, enjoyed its moment in the sun. Next up, we travel back to the 16th century to explore a fashion trend that revolved around, well, stuffing. And no, I'm not talking about Thanksgiving turkey, I'm talking about bombast. This trend, popular with both men and women, involved using padding to create the illusion of a larger, more imposing physique. Think of it as the Renaissance version of shoulder pads, but taken to a whole new level. People would stuff their clothing, doublets, sleeves, even their calves with cotton, wool, or even sawdust. The goal? To achieve a fuller figure, a sign of wealth and prosperity in those times. Imagine the discomfort, the heat, the potential for, well, wardrobe malfunctions. But hey, fashion is pain, right? Or at least it was in the 16th century. Now, let's address the elephant, or rather the tightly cinched waist, in the room corsets. These garments, with a history spanning centuries, have often been portrayed as instruments of torture, but is that entirely accurate? The truth, as with most things in history, is more nuanced. While it's true that corsets could be restrictive and uncomfortable, the notion that they routinely caused organ damage or were inherently deadly is largely a misconception. Yes, tight corsets could cause indigestion and discomfort, and prolonged use could weaken abdominal muscles, but the more outlandish claims about their health effects are often exaggerated. So, while we wouldn't recommend squeezing into a whalebone corset anytime soon, it's important to approach this fashion trend with a balanced perspective, separating fact from fiction. From constricted waists, we move to elongated footwear, the Krakows. Picture this: shoes with toes so long they could rival a jester's hat. These pointy shoes, popular in the late 14th century, were all the rage among European gentlemen. The longer the toe, the higher your status, or at least that was the idea. But let's be real. These shoes were impractical to the extreme. Imagine trying to walk, let alone dance, in shoes that could extend up to 2 feet in length. Some wearers even resorted to chains that attached the toes to their legs just to make walking somewhat manageable. And you thought high heels were bad. Our journey through fashion faux pas brings us to the 19th century, where women navigated life with a rather cumbersome accessory, the crinoline. Imagine a massive bell-shaped cage made of hoops and fabric designed to give skirts a voluminous silhouette. It was the bigger the better mentality taken to new and slightly dangerous heights. These cages weren't exactly known for their grace. They could get caught on things, topple over, and even make it difficult to fit through doorways. And don't even get me started on the fire hazard. One wrong move near an open flame and those voluminous skirts could turn into a fiery inferno. Yikes! From towering wigs to toe-pinching shoes and everything in between, we've explored some of history's most questionable fashion trends. It's a reminder that what's considered stylish is constantly evolving, and what's fashionable in one era might be laughable in another. But hey, that's the beauty of fashion, its ability to surprise, delight, and occasionally make us wonder, what were they thinking? Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more fascinating insights into history's quirkiest moments.